Okay, hi there students. This is a C2 writing exercise and you have to write a summary of this text about risk. Now the text itself is in the description. Okay, so summary. Read the above text. Write an essay summarizing and evaluating the key points from it. Use your own words throughout as far as possible and include your own ideas in your answers. Taking a chance. In his writing, Chauncey claimed that some theories about societal risk can be proved by experiment. In his writing, in this text, in this essay, in this in this piece of writing, Chauncey claimed that some theories about societal risk can be proved by experiments. To clarify this, firstly, he sets out that there are two kinds of risks, voluntary and involuntary. To clarify this, he sets out. I'm not very happy with sets out. He sets down, I think I would even say he postulates. He states. I think states would probably be the best one. He states that there are two kinds of risks, voluntary and involuntary. I like this colon. The former refers to those dangers we assume of our own accord, like, for example, I think one or the other, but not both. For example, hunting or certain sports. The latter refers to those which are imposed on us by society, such as military service or nuclear power generation. Okay, good. That's good. That's quite nice. I like your former and the latter. As a result, we are reluctant to go through them. Woof. As a result of what? As a result, and to go through them as well, such as so I think I'm going to change this sentence completely. It's as a result. I like what you're trying to do, but it really doesn't work. So we are reluctant to expose ourselves to involuntary risks. And here he postulates, he states, he believes we are reluctant to expose ourselves to involuntary risks. Starr, I think it's a double R, Starr recognizes as valid the ratio of 1000 to 1, mind you, i.e. every 1,000 hours of exposure to that risk there is one fatality that is set against the benefit got by carrying out that activity. So recognizes as valid, you can't put that like that. Okay, so Starr proposes a risk ratio of 1,000 to 1. I prefer IE of 1,000 to 1. So, 1,000 to 1, meaning that for every 1,000 hours of exposure to that risk, there is one fatality that is set against, I like set against, the benefit, any benefit, sounds nicer, got, any benefit attained, received, any benefit gained by carrying out that activity. Okay, so Starr proposes a risk ratio of 1 to 1,000. Semicolon. By this he means that for every 1,000 hours of by this he means that for every 1,000 hours of exposure to that risk, there is one fatality set against any benefit gained by carrying out that activity. I'm not sure that's exactly what he says, but I will let it go, because we're not analysing the technical part of this, and I think that would work. Statistics confirm the aforesaid statement. We assume more risk voluntarily than otherwise. Okay, I like the way you're trying to use a colon here. Statistics confirm the aforesaid statement. That's quite nice. Aforesaid statement. But this risk ratio, it doesn't say anything about these voluntary risks. You see, I think I would say confirm the aforesaid statement, and that we assume more risks voluntarily than otherwise. Another important factor is the number of people who take part in these activities. Good. The more people carry out a risky activity, the less it is perceived as risky. Okay, the more people carry out this activity, the less it is perceived as risky. It works very nicely. Furthermore, publicity has a saying in this, has a say in this. Furthermore, publicity has a say in this. I would probably say publicity is another factor in this. Publicity is another factor in this. In fact, it influences us It influences us. Unconsciously diminishing our sense of risk in activities we see in advertisements, like partying or drinking, in spite of its serious consequences for our health. In fact, it influences us unconsciously, diminishing our sense of risk in activities we see in advertisements, like partying and drinking, in spite of, let's try an any, in spite of any serious consequences for our health. Despite the appearances, this risk-taking has a limit which Starr shows to be similar to that of the risk of death from involuntary disease. Despite the appearances, I think I might just say despite appearances. Despite appearances, this risk-taking has a limit which Starr shows to be similar to that of the risk of death through involuntary diseases. A very good sentence, well done. As if everybody had a system which lets them know when they are approaching that limit for activities, mainly sports. Oh, I love that. I love that little inclusion there. It's very nice. You see the way she's put this here, with that limit for activities, comma, mainly sports. It's just adding an aside, like skiing, race driving, athletic contests. An athletic contest. You see, normally a contest is more pugilistic. I would say athletic, we could leave it, competitions. Good. Anyway, I'm going to leave that. To conclude his theory, Starr asks a question that can be food for thought, suggesting that this unconscious limit we establish for risky activities may be the line that establishes the difference between being bold and being foolhardy. To conclude his theory, this one doesn't work. To conclude, as a result of his theory, as a result of his theory, to conclude, as a result of his theory, Starr asks a question that asks a question, asks a question that that can be, that could be, that might well be food for thought. Okay, so to conclude, as a result of his theory, Starr asks a question that okay, to conclude, as a result of his theory, Starr asks a question that might well be food for thought. To conclude, as a result of his theory, Starr asks a question that might well be food for thought. Semicolon. I want to break this up. And then he suggests that this unconscious limit we establish for risky activities may be the line that, to establishes, we set for risky activities, may be the line that establishes the difference between being bold and being foolhardy. Okay, this is very nice. I like the structure you've been trying to use. You've been quite ambitious with your structures. Let's see. At level C2, what am I going to give this? There's not a lot. There are not a lot of mistakes. I think it's a rather technical document, the original. And I think you probably dealt with it quite well. At C2, I think I'm going to give it a 6.5, maybe a 7, 6.5 at level C2. The formality is quite good, maybe even a 7, 6.75. It's certainly a good piece of work. So well done.